What's up, guys? My name is Izzy, and I'm here to provide you my early and official predictions for UFC Seattle, Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. Now, before we get started, let's just quickly recap last week's predictions, where we ended up having a pretty decent night in terms of the predictions. We went 9-3. We can talk about them really quick. We only missed one prediction on the prelims, and I wouldn't call it a robbery, but I felt like Souza won it. But prior to that, 5-0, we had Cavalcanti by sub or decision. She ended up winning by decision. We had Walter Walker to win. I had him by decision. He ended up winning by sub. We also had Elijah Smith to win by decision. He won by decision. It was honestly a very close scrap. It was fun. Honestly, feel like I should have bet on it. Don't know. Was a bit hesitant on it, to be honest. Then we had Bonfim, the first Bonfim, obviously. Painful that the other one didn't win. We'll get to that. But we had Gabriel Bonfim by sub or decision. He ended up winning by sub. I mean, chaos looked out of there. Then we had Estevam to win by TKO or decision. He ended up winning by decision. Kind of a boring fight, if we're being honest. Jared Gordon didn't end up fighting because Ruziboev doesn't matter because he came in fat, so they couldn't fight. Whatever. And then it was Souza versus Angela Hill. We had Souza to win by decision. She was an underdog in a lot of books. Ended up losing a split decision where I felt like she won rounds 2 and 3. Mostly, she should have won round 2 regardless on all scorecards. That was clearly her round. Third could have been argued either way. A judge ended up giving her only round 3, which makes no sense. So already there, I was like, okay, we might be screwed. And then we ended up having Delgado to win by knockout or TKO, which was fire. Then we had Vieira by sub. He ended up losing. And then we had the other Bonfim brother, which we had in a parlay, which ultimately lost just because I didn't want to talk about it. Then we had Shabaznian to win, which hit. Zalal to win, which hit. And then we had underdog Jared Cannonier by knockout or TKO, the dog, to win, and he hit. Now, in terms of the like I said, 9-3 in the predictions, great bounce back there. The parlay of the week continues to struggle, but one thing to come out, or at least one takeaway from this card, is that we hit a monster bet aside from that. And I'm going to have Chris, my editor, put it up on screen as well, where it was a plus 926. We had Walter Walker money line, Jose Delgado to win by knockout or TKO, which was plus 165, and Jared Cannonier money line. Plus 926.50, ended up winning 500 right there. Literally just cleared my L from parlay of the week and a little more. So that gives me confidence not only for the parlay of the week and other bets moving forward for the UFC, because like I said, we've been crushing every other sport. It's been a little slow in terms of the bets, but also the predictions coming into this week because it's a shorter card. There's been a lot of cancellations, to be honest. Only 11 fights right now. Hopefully it stays 11 and it doesn't drop to 10 or 9. I hate making predictions for cards that only have 8 fights because you lose 4 and you're at 50%. So don't want to deal with that this week. Hopefully they stay at 11. But regardless of that, it's a decent card. Kind of sucks for the fans of Seattle who are going. But like I said, all in all, it's a decent card. So let's get straight to it, to be honest. And one more thing before we get started, I apologize. Obviously, I just started this YouTube not that long ago. Or I started it like a few months ago, but I haven't started using it up until like a month ago. We're almost at 300 subs. The plan is to do a giveaway at 500 subs. So if you aren't subbed right now, make sure you do so, because once that 500 limit hits, I will be giving away $200 in total. I was thinking of doing just giving 2 people 100, but I like to share the wealth, and I feel like 50 is still a lot for some people, so I'm going to do 50 to 4 people, especially because I'm going it up to 500. So if you haven't subbed already, like I said, the full card predictions I've had I used to do this on TikTok where I had 15,000 followers. So I'm trying to get to that here, obviously, and the predictions are only gonna be here moving forward. They've always been like that now for the past few weeks, ever since TikTok's been down. So If you want to sub, I would greatly appreciate it. I will be doing the giveaway. Hopefully we can get 500 as soon as possible. Hopefully within the next few fight cards, considering we have like 6 more straight weeks of the UFC. So hopefully by then we'll, rack up some subs as well. And I'll be doing way more giveaways from 500 to 750 subs to 1,000 hopefully soon. And then so on and so forth. I've been doing that on TikTok as well. I have proof too. I've been handing out money like, I was going to say Robin Hood. Is it Robin Hood? I think so. Regardless, let's get straight to these predictions. Like I said, Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. We'll start with the first fight of the night, which is Modestas Bukauskas versus Raffael Cerqueira. Now, we'll get to the odds later, but Bukauskas minus 325 is kind of insane. They're both 6'3", same reach, except obviously the Brazilian has the 2.5 leg reach advantage. When we just look at Bukauskas in general, I mean, mid UFC career so far, 4-4. It's rough. He won his first fight, and then he just dropped 3 straight. Obviously, Jimmy Crute at the time was kind of a dog. Michael, I still don't know how to say his name, and I've watched all of his fights at this point. Lost that one. Lost to Khalil Roundtree because Roundtree is an absolute animal. Then kind of got smoked by the UFC, and they were like, go back to Cage Warriors. So goes to Cage Warriors, picks up 2 wins, comes back, beats Tyson Pedro and Zach Pauga. Now, the thing about both of them, very low output fighters. If Tyson Pedro doesn't hit you or knock you out early, he's pretty much not in the fight. Same as Zach Pauga. Then comes Vitor Petrino. Petrino absolutely chins the hell out of him. Sorry. And then comes back with a win. So since coming back to the UFC, I mean 3-1, not the worst. But when you look at the level of competition, it's really not that great, to be honest. Regardless if he's winning these unanimously, to me, really that doesn't matter. And then we see this animal who was undefeated up until his last fight, and it was his UFC debut, where he fought Ibo Aslan, which is also fighting on this card. Now, he lost in 50 seconds. So, obviously, just off of that, you can't really determine how this fight is going to go because there's not that much tape on him. Even in general, I mean, 11 professional fights isn't that much. And as you can see, his last 4 were straight off the first round. And those were all from 2023 and later. So, honestly, those 2022 fights and prior to that really don't matter. He's a completely different fighter now. And I wouldn't judge him not only on those first round finishes, but that first round loss against Ibo Aslan. I mean, Aslan obviously came in with the pressure. It was pretty much even odds from what I remember in that fight. So, I mean, he got caught by Aslan, who's an absolute animal. He's a monster. But Bukauskas, like I said, it's tough betting on someone who's minus 330. Like, Bukauskas should not be a minus 330 favorite ever, especially because we know that he can get hurt, and we haven't really been able to, fully determine if Cerqueira is a UFC fighter. But against Bukauskas, I mean, anyone really does have a shot. I don't see him really landing the heavier shots. He might have some more output. He might even turn into a wrestler just a little bit. Where Cerqueira knows that, he messed up that first fight. He's going to come out guns blazing, and he's going to be looking to hurt Bukauskas within those first 2 rounds, 100%. He's not trying to get to that 3rd round where he ends up gassing. Like I said, a lot of first-round finishes early. We know what he's going to want to do. I don't like this for Bukauskas, I'll be honest with you. So first fight of the night, we're going straight dog. We're going Raffael Cerqueira to win by knockout or TKO. I think he puts Bukauskas on his back early in that first round, drops him, might not finish him, ends up getting a finish in the 2nd round. Regardless, don't think this gets to the 3rd. If it does, likely would be a decision win for Bukauskas if it's 1-1, and then it goes into the 3rd, to be honest. But don't really see it getting there. I kind of think Cerqueira is going to show why he's in the UFC, and Bukauskas is, regardless of him being 3-1 in his second stint in the UFC why he's kind of a can. But regardless, second fight of the night, Mansur Abdul-Malik versus Nick Klein. Now, undefeated prospects. And we'll start with Malik, obviously, but he's 1 inch taller, 2.5-inch reach advantage, same leg reach. We've seen Abdul-Malik fight already in the UFC. I said undefeated, my bad. 6-1. Nick Klein 6-1. But Malik 7-0, 1-0 in the UFC. Won by first round knockout against a can. But it's fun. Cause he's honestly a dog. Like, those odds are insane, but he's a fucking animal. We're gonna see a lot more of him in the UFC 100%. And here comes Nick Klein, who actually picked up his Contender Series win on my birthday. First round sub. I mean, 3 straight rear naked chokes. Prior to that, did end up losing by TKO as a ground and pound a few years ago. Pretty decent amateur record as well. I mean, the thing is, I mean, he's not really fighting anyone special. The only person that has a decent record, obviously, he's only 6-1, is his Contender Series fight where Souza was 9-1-1. Just curious, since then, he's also that's the last time he's fought. I'm just curious. It's tough to bet on him because it almost feels like he's gonna give up certain positions, hoping that it'll stay on the ground. But the thing about Abdul-Malik is that even on the ground, I think that he'll be able to hold top control and he'll hold that position and won't care, because he'll elbow the shit out of you, and he really won't, unless he somehow gives up his back, which I just don't see happening. I think he'll be able to hold Nick Klein down, keep him there, just beat him up, end up trying to finish him, especially if it's like late in the round. He's going to be going for bombs. Now, if it gets to the third round, Malik could obviously gas. I don't really think he does, to be honest, and I think it's going to be a pretty easy win for Abdul-Malik. The odds kind of suggest the same, minus 720, minus 650. People are putting him in parlays 100%. I wouldn't really touch that fight at those odds, but I still do think that he wins comfortably. Obviously he's not going to get a sub, but by TKO or decision. I hate that it's minus 720, but it's fine. We'll have some dogs here and there, and we'll get to those. But we already have a dog. What am I talking about? And we'll have another one. But give me Mansur Abdul-Malik to win by TKO or decision. Next fight, I haven't even needed to use the other website yet, because we're obviously, most of these people barely have fucking fights in the UFC. But this one, Ricky Simón versus Javid Basharat. Now, Basharat has a 3-inch height advantage, same reach, and a 3-inch leg reach advantage also for Basharat. 14-1, he actually did end up losing his last fight, which was quite surprising, but it was valid. I mean, we'll get to him first. 14-1 against Amin Zahabi, where Zahabi he's just shown like a second life in the UFC, where he's I don't know, he's been looking really good lately, and he honestly really just outstruck Zahabi. He outstruck Basharat. Although it says he only outstruck him by 8 strikes, I mean, when you look at the fight itself, he was winning that fight clearly, but did end up losing that. And then his last fight prior to that, Basharat did get a no contest. He was beating up Victor Henry, ended up hitting Victor Henry where you're not supposed to be hit, and he couldn't continue. And obviously, because it was only early in the second round, they couldn't count how the fight was going yet, unfortunately. But prior to that, I mean, pure domination from Basharat. I'm a big fan of Basharat also. It was obviously surprising to see him lose, but that's the type of matchup where he would lose, because, like I said, Zahabi's been looking great. Even he's been looking technically sound, especially on the feet. So when you counter that with someone like Basharat who does the same thing but hits, who prefers output, where Zahabi is looking for power, it kind of balanced out a little bit, and it kind of leaned. The fight started leaning towards Zahabi. He was landing the harder shots, which at the end of the day matters more. Where usually Basharat is getting away from shots a lot. So although his output isn't a crazy amount, the power isn't crazy, the output is still there, and he's just throwing so much more and so much cleaner. In the way he's just moving out of those situations, it's hard to just even have fighters fight him and get frustrated because they can't hit him. He's just so clean on the feet. His movement's pretty damn insane. I mean, reminds you of Dominic Cruz, honestly. Not as good, obviously, but you know what I mean. I mean, outstruck every single opponent up until that point that he fought Zahabi, and it's probably going to be the same thing this week against Ricky Simón. Because Ricky Simón, I mean, I feel bad for dude. I mean, 8-5 right now. He's lost 3 straight in the UFC. We obviously don't count the grappling match, but before that, right? So I watched this fight against Jack Shore live, and it was fun. I mean, he dropped him, and he choked him the hell out at some point. I mean, and that was like kind of the fall of Jack Shore at that point, who was undefeated. Comes back for a main event against Song Yadong, and Song Yadong just brutalizes him. It was nasty. It was honestly really sad. Took him, had 2 knockdowns and 45 more strikes. I mean, pure domination. Ends up getting TKO'd. Fights Bautista, loses. Fights Oliveira. I mean, all these fights too, just looks like he's not even in it. Once that bell rings, that 3rd round finishes, you kind of go, oh, he absolutely lost this. And they're both 2 unanimous decision losses, and they were outright losses for sure. Couldn't get any offense going. It almost feels like he's way too predictable at this point. We know when he's shooting for takedowns. He honestly, he can't strike with the best of them. If he wrestles and he gets you down, maybe things could be different. But Song Yadong, great takedown defense, couldn't do anything to him. He did land 2 takedowns, but he was 2 for 9. That's not great at all. So when he's not able to, he had 2 takedowns against Vinny, 2 for 11. Now, Basharat, obviously, 85% takedown defense. People have taken him down, don't get me wrong, but 85% takedown defense, not only because he knows exactly what to do when he's pushed up on the cage, but he knows just the movement outside of that. He's going to keep it in the middle of the cage at all times. I think this is a clear win for Basharat, especially a bounce-back fight against someone who's not that great at striking. And you have that type of takedown defense. How does Ricky Simón win unless he catches him? How does he win? I don't know. At these odds, obviously, minus 310 is very nasty. I wouldn't be surprised if this went to 400 at some point, to be honest. Big Basharat fan. I'm biased, obviously. I'm a big Basharat fan. But I just don't see, unless he gets taken down and just absolutely held there, how does Ricky Simón win at this point? I feel bad for dude, but I really do like Basharat to just cleanly win all 3 rounds. I don't think he finishes him, but clean 3 rounds, unanimous decision. So yeah, give me Javid Basharat to win by decision. Next fight of the night. Oh, Adam Fugit is not fighting anymore, so we're going here. Andre Fili versus, I hate saying his name. We're gonna go Costa. Melquizael Costa. I hate saying his name. But regardless, Andre Fili, an inch taller, 3-inch reach advantage, which obviously always with Fili is very important. And actually, Costa does have the half-inch leg reach advantage. We'll start with Andre Fili. He is 12 and 10 in the UFC. Obviously, I mean, I can't call him a can. That's my dog, but he's hit or miss, and Costa is as well. Actually picked up a split decision win against Cub Swanson, where we bet on him against Cub Swanson, and thank the Lord it went our way, because it honestly was looking a bit scary at some point. Picked up the win, split decision win, but before that got smoked by Dan Ige. Won his fight before that against Almeida, lost to Nathaniel Wood, which was a very close fight. Beat Bill Algeo, which is a split, was also a very close fight. It really depends. He's all matchup. That dude is straight up all matchup. All matchup. And when we see Costa, 2-2 in the UFC, he actually picked up a great sub win where we actually had predicted he was going to win. He was like a plus 200. Ended up choking dude out. I forgot. I think our moderator Salty had him also by sub or something crazy. It was something crazy. It was like plus 700 or something like that. But I remember seeing that. I was like, oh my God, this is fire. But regardless, right before that, smoked by Steve Garcia. Now, Steve Garcia, as we've seen, isn't a scrub. I thought Steve Garcia was a scrub for a little bit, and then he just kind of shut me up and everyone else. And honestly, we had no reason to think he was, because he's kind of been killing it like for a while now. So got smoked early in that fight, and then I don't even know how he lasted till the second round. But ground and pound, I mean, he was red during that fight. He was all red. So we kind of already know what I'm trying to refer to. But regardless, we know that Fili is going to be all output. He's just a lot of volume. As long as he doesn't get taken down. Now, he does have a 70% takedown defense, which is okay. I mean, it really depends on the fighters. We know Dan Ige is not out here trying to take you down. Cub Swanson's not out here trying to take you down. They're trying to take your head off. So a lot of these can be earlier fights as well. Costa's going to be looking for takedowns. He averages 2.5. I mean, takedown accuracy is 35%, which means that if we were to do some math, he's averaging around 7 takedowns a fight. And we see that. He got 2 here, 3 here, and none against Moises, because Moises is obviously the one leading the dance. I'm going to keep this one short, although it is a pick'em fight, which is actually very interesting. I thought that Fili was going to be a little bit of a bigger favorite. This is 1 minus 113. I just think Fili's just going to have so much more output. It's going to be a close fight. If he gets taken down, which I don't not see, I can absolutely see him get taken down, especially early in the fight. It can go 1-1 going into the third, which is why it's a pick'em, to be honest. I just think that the output's going to outweigh everything else for Fili. Coming off a very hard-fought win against Cub Swanson, the power is not going to be coming his way like that. He's going to be more worried about getting taken down and held there and trying to get subbed. So he can absolutely get subbed here. He's not going to get TKO'd. I just think Fili's going to be able to pick those shots, and I think he drops Costa at some point. Might not finish him, but I think he gets that dub, to be honest. So give me Andre Fili to win by TKO or decision. Next fight, Nursulton Ruziboev versus Eric. Yeah, I'm sorry. He doesn't have a photo here. I have a photo of him on my phone. I was just like making sure. McConico. Obviously his debut. We'll get to him. There's no stats on him here, so we're not even going to talk too much about him here. But Ruziboev coming off of an L against Joaquin Buckley. Kind of killing it before. Had 2 wins in the UFC. Straight right, Bruno Ferreira. And then ground and pound against Dumas. He was kind of eye-poking Dumas a little bit. Wouldn't really count all that, but he smoked Bruno Ferreira. Bruno Ferreira obviously keeps his hands down a lot. Then he fights Joaquin Buckley in Buckley's hometown. And Buckley just puts on a fucking show. He just puts on a show. Outstruck him, 4 takedowns, 1 knockdown, and held him down. Landed all 4 of his takedowns. Now, like I said, we're not really going to talk too much about homie over here. 9-2. 2 losses were by TKO, but they were a while ago. Both from 2019. One thing when it comes to these debut fighters, and we did this last week as well. I mean, look at who he's fighting: 28 and 20, 10 and 4, 15 and 10, 6 and 5, 5 and 7, 5 and 3, 10 and 7. Um, I'm good. I'm so good. Lost his first two, whatever. That doesn't matter. It's a million years ago. I'm so good. One win in LFA, which is the closest he's has to fighting good competition. Ruziboev has the experience. He just fought Joaquin Buckley, and now he has to fight Homie here. I'm not doing this. This is ridiculous. FanDuel minus 320. Not bad, to be honest. Kind of feel like this is a decent parlay piece for Ruziboev. I thought he'd be a minus 500. And then when I saw this, I was like, I might have to parlay this Homie with something for fun. Like, this is kind of crazy. But regardless, um, I think it could go to decision. Don't get me wrong. It's not like McConico is like a scrub or a can. He's just fought cans. So we really don't know how he's going to come out. Ruziboev could absolutely gas out or slow down in the third, where he just doesn't end up getting that win or that victory. But one thing to point out also, Ruziboev, 20 sub wins. So 7 decision losses is hilarious. Regardless, give me Ruziboev to win by sub or decision. Next fight, Alonzo Menifield versus Julius Walker. This is another one where we won't have stats. Absolutely lovely. I love that for me. We'll start with Menifield. So many like fighters who just don't have shit on. 15 and 5 and 1. He's just 8 and 5. He's kind of a scrub, man. He lost his last 2 by knockout. I mean, Carlos Ulberg demolished him in 12 seconds. Then he gets smoked in his next fight again. And prior to that, he was on a 4 or 5 fight unbeaten streak, including a draw against Jimmy Crute, where he was losing, and then he made it competitive as well. And then he ended up choking Jimmy Crute out, which is hilarious. Beats Dustin Jacoby, which we bet on, and he was an underdog. And then, like I said, smoked his last 2 fights. I mean, the chin's not there. He relies way too much on power. And now he's fighting Julius Walker, who's 6-0. His nickname is Juicebox. And he's just out here taking you down and punching you in the face. And that's something he can absolutely do against Alonzo Menifield. Now, Menifield, 76% takedown defense. Not that bad. Doesn't really get taken down, but you have to also understand the quality of fighters. Azamat is not looking to take you down. He's looking to stay on the feet and kick you and do all this spinning nonsense as well. Ulberg knocked him out in 12 seconds, not even looking to wrestle as well. Dustin Jacoby is a kickboxer. Jimmy Crute has CTE, 1 takedown, but he did land 6 in the first fight. So it really depends on the type of fighter, and Julius Walker will be looking for takedowns. He's not going to be looking to just stand with someone like Alonzo Menifield. Menifield does have more experience, but the IQ might not be there, and I honestly don't hate the debutant for once. Usually you always try to fade them because you know how they're going to come in, but I kind of don't hate this one, honestly. Like I said, I mean, if he doesn't get popped and smoked early, I think he can make this a pretty competitive fight where he'll be able to hold him down and just try to beat Menifield up, get those big arms tired from wrestling, especially from just trying not to get taken down. You can tire out someone like Alonzo Menifield, who looks like he's on the juice. So I really don't hate this fight for the dog because he's an absolute dog. Plus 150 on FanDuel, plus 170 on DraftKings. Not bad. He actually has just, the odds have been not going in his favor on DraftKings, right? Yeah. Plus, started opened 140, now 180 on DraftKings today, where Menifield is minus 200. Now, I would not put money on, I wouldn't put money on Menifield at minus 200. That seems kind of illogical. So I'm going to go with a dog here. This is my second dog of the night. We'll have 3, by the way. Or maybe 4. We'll see. This is my second dog, and I kind of like this. Both of my dogs are fighters who can win by by TKO or knockout TKO. Like, it's a puncher's chance. And I'm fading Menifield and I'm fading Bukauskas. I don't hate my spots here, to be honest. For underdogs, especially at those odds, plus 150, I don't think Menifield is a minus 200 fighter at all. So give me the dog. Give me Julius Walker to win this by TKO or decision. Next fight of the night, Ion Cuțelaba versus Ibo Aslan. Now, Aslan does have the 2-inch height advantage, 2.5-inch reach advantage, and 2.5-inch leg reach advantage. We'll quickly do this with Aslan because I think Aslan wins. I think he like decisively wins. 14-1, 2-0 in the UFC. Anton Turkaloo gave him some trouble early, and then just absolutely smoked him in the third. Then Cerqueira, who we just talked about earlier, 50 seconds. I mean, can't really say much about Cerqueira, but Ibo was looking for blood, and that's exactly what he got. He was looking for the kill early, and he got what he wanted, thankfully, to be honest. Prior to those two fights, I mean, just first round finishes, first round TKO finishes, and he's faced someone in Ion Cuțelaba who has lost in every single way, including disqualification. 7-9-1 in the UFC. Did win his last fight by split decision, lost to Felipe Lins. Prior to that, beat Tanner Boser, scrub, and then he lost 3 straight against decent competition. I mean, this is exactly Ion Cuțelaba's career. I mean, he beats very bad competition and loses to okay competition. Ibo is okay, so now you know where my head is at. Now here's the thing. Does Ibo finish him? The odds haven't come out yet, but Ibo to win right now is minus 160. Ibo to win, and he was minus 140, so the odds will continue going. I think he'll probably be a minus 180 when the books close. Now, does he finish him? Ion is tough. He's tough to finish. Obviously, the punches are going to be thrown here. I think they both can get hurt, and then that's whenever they start chilling. They're like, let's just wrestle and let's just chill a little bit. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Ibo to win by knockout or TKO was plus 120. Ibo to win by decision plus 700 or 600 or something like that. And I kind of don't hate that. I kind of want to go that route, to be honest. Regardless, I do like Ibo to win this. I'm not going to go too much into it because Cuțelaba is a scrub. As long as Ibo is able to keep it on the feet, Eon's not that technical, to be honest. Aslan isn't either. They're going to be looking for just those power punches. As long as Ibo doesn't get ripped to the body, Eon's going to be looking for that a lot early. But he's going to get countered, and he's going to get smoked by like a left hook or something. So, yeah, give me Ion Cuțelaba. No. Their first names are so fucking similar that I almost fucked up the whole video. Give me Ibo Aslan to win this by decision. I'm not going knockout or TKO. It's probably not a trap. That's probably, I mean, the prop for this not to go to decision or not to go the distance is going to be minus 500. I'll tell you that right now. And that's not the way to go. Fuck that. So, we're going to go decision here. Give me Ibo Aslan to win by decision. Now, next fight of the night. Raffael versus Gene Matsumoto. Now, Raffael was supposed to fight Dominic Cruz. Obviously, Dominic Cruz just fucked his whole arm up. So, can't fight. But did pick up a good win against Carter Phillips. It was close at first, and then it wasn't because it was crazy odds as well. Raffael was like a plus 300. Got smoked by Figgy and then got smoked by Sanhagen where he got out-wrestled pretty much. I mean, this is how Rob Font goes. Now, Rob Font is getting up there in age. Homie is 37. And he's fighting someone in Gene Matsumoto who's 16-0. And, I mean, listen, 2-0 in the UFC, 2 solid wins, one against Dan Argueta, one against Brad Katana. And you would think, he's going to wrestle him. Yeah, but Gene, homie likes to stand. Homie likes to stand and bang. 27% takedown accuracy. His takedowns fucking suck. But he's out here striking dudes. Now, the one thing about Rob Font is he can't stop a takedown for his life. So does Matsumoto lean that way? I think he kind of does. I think he's not going to give Rob Font space to work. Rob Font does have the 3-inch reach advantage where he loves to pop that jab. I mean, he has one of the stickiest jabs in the UFC. He's going to be looking to do that against Gene early. Gene's going to want to pressure him, just push him on the cage, grab him on, get on his back. Even if he doesn't take him down, just knee his thighs, just everything to make sure Rob Font is as close to you as possible, because that's where he's not that dangerous. That's the second least dangerous place Rob Font can be, and the first one is when he's on his back, because it can't get up. He can't do shit on the ground. He literally can't do shit. That's where Matsumoto is going to win this fight. Is I think he's going to be aiming to get those takedowns early and just hold him there as much as possible. It's a short notice fight. It's a catch weight, so they're both a little heavier than usual. Not by much. It's, by like 5 fucking pounds, so it's not like they're going to do anything drastic. But Matsumoto is, he's not going to risk his record thinking that he can't win this fight, especially coming on short notice. He clearly thinks that he's going to be able to take him down, maybe even outstrike him, but I think a lot of those strikes will come from the ground. Now, when we look at the odds, there's not even that many odds yet, but let's just say Betway, the bullshit ass odds, -200 for Matsumoto. Not bad, to be honest. I don't hate it for a short notice fight for the both of them, because you always want to lean the wrestler a little bit more, or the one who's gonna wrestle more, I should say. So yeah, I do like Matsumoto here, to be honest. Give me Gene Matsumoto to win by decision. I don't think anyone gets finished. Next fight of the night: Gene Silva versus Melsik Baghdasaryan. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, these odds are fucking crazy. Where's Gene Silva? -720 on FanDuel? Why? Why would you do that? I'll tell you straight up, too. I think Gene Silva finishes him. Gene Silva by knockout or TKO. That's how we're going. 14-2, 3-0. I mean, he's just been smoking dudes. Even came in a little fat here. Then beat the hell out of Drew Dober, where he was a pick'em. Didn't make sense. Baghdasaryan 3-1. Did get choked out by Josh Kulabau, then picked up a nice win. Then he's just had cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. He has a chance here to, be a massive underdog against Gene Silva. I just think Gene Silva is just going to put the work on him. Those odds are so gross, though. I would not touch those odds. I was going to go to Baghdasaryan. I mean, Baghdasaryan does like to strike as well. He's not going to be looking at, he hasn't even landed a takedown in his UFC career. So there's that. But regardless, I don't like it. Those odds are too gross to bet on. But I like Gene Silva to win by knockout or TKO. Honestly, Baghdasaryan isn't the worst dog, especially on the card. Worth a sprinkle. Could pick up a decision, a split decision, some crazy shit like that. We've seen crazier things. I still like Gene Silva. I'm not going to fade a fighting nerd here, to be honest. Not yet. But give me Gene Silva to win by knockout or TKO. Now, co-main event. Now, this one's going to be fun. Ranked opponents. Brendan Allen versus Fluffy Anthony Hernandez. Now, Brendan Allen has the 2-inch height advantage, same reach, and a 2-inch leg reach advantage for Brendan Allen. Now, Brendan Allen is coming off a loss against Imavov, where we took Brendan Allen to win, which he didn't end up winning. He was an underdog, but we took him. We didn't bet on that. We bet on his spread, which is +3.5, evenly. I think it was like -120. And that hit because he won a round. So it was 1-1 going into the third, and then he ended up losing because he couldn't grab Imavov to save his life. I think he landed only 1 takedown in that fight, or 2. He was 1 for 10. I mean, 1 for fucking 10. There's not much you can do. Got outstruck, absolutely. He lost that fight. Don't get me wrong, but it was close. It was pretty close. And before that, he was riding a 7-fight win streak. Imavov, obviously we've seen, is a top contender. Literally couldn't have lost to a better person right now in the middleweight division. It's It's him and like DDP. So not the worst loss. Not the worst loss. But there's levels to this. And is Fluffy there at this very moment? Now Fluffy's riding a 6-fight win streak. Last fight against Pereira, where we bet on him, it was like minus 130 for him to win, and in a 5-rounder against Pereira, where we've seen Pereira only smoke dogs in the middleweight division at this point. Early, it was kind of crazy. Look at this. I mean, pure domination. Ended up getting a TKO in the 5th round. Could have gotten stopped before that. Pure domination. Before that, had a great win against Kopylov where he choked him out in the 2nd round. Shabazz was a great win as well. Some of these fights also, I mean, starts off slow, and just the pressure of Fluffy just gets to you and he wears you down. And sometimes he gets hurt, but he's like, I don't care. I'm not losing this fight. That's how he's moving. He's like, I don't care. I'm not losing this fight. Hasn't lost since Kevin Holland years ago. That's when Kevin Holland was Kevin Holland. Picked up a 1st-round TKO, obviously, and then he also got choked early in his UFC career. So hasn't been finished since, but he can get finished. And this is why I'm a bit afraid, because Brendan Allen is always looking for a finish. When we look at who has better hands, it's pretty even. I think Brendan Allen's better on the ground. It's so tough. This fight is so even that it's so hard to pick on someone, but this is why I'm going to go with Brendan Allen. This right here. Why is he a plus 220? I get it. Fluffy's great. I love Fluffy. I'm a huge Fluffy fan, but this fight should be a pick'em. It's not like Brendan Allen just got like kicked by Joaquin Buckley the way fucking Homie did. That's like Impa did years ago. Like, Brendan Allen got beat up, yeah, but against someone like Fluffy, who's very reckless in there, Brendan Allen tends to lose to fuckers like a lot more technical than him. Or at least those close fights are a lot more technical fighters, like someone like Imavov, even like a early in his career, that Chris Curtis one, where he did avenge it eventually. Here it was a split, but I thought he won pretty decisively. But regardless, I hate these odds. I hate these odds a lot. I don't see how he loses this like this. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. I'm going to go with the dog here. I'm going to go Brendan Allen. I just think that he's going to be able to weather the storm, and he's going to be the one leading the dance a lot. He'll be able to pressure Fluffy, take Fluffy down, at least in those scramble moments, just get on top, hold him there and look for those subs where Fluffy might get a little bit desperate, and he goes for that sub, might even finish him like in any other way. So, yeah, give me the dog. Oh, this is fight of the night, to be honest. Give me Brendan Allen to win by TKO or decision. And last but not least, the main event, Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. Henry, little short fuck. Song Yadong has a 4-inch reach advantage. Also 4-inch height advantage, 3-inch reach advantage, and a 1-inch leg reach advantage. He is the favorite here, which we'll get to. But Song Yadong also coming off of a loss against Peter Yan. But here's the thing, Peter Yan. Oh, I sound like Sean Strickland. Here's the thing, guys. I gotta stop saying that. Peter Yan made that fight very dirty. It to his advantage. Obviously, Peter Yan was coming off of a few L's himself, and this was a massive win for him. But prior to that, for Song Yadong, picked up 2 great wins. One against Gutierrez, which was also just kind of domination from him. He kind of smoked. Gutierrez just looked like he didn't want to be there, to be honest. It was a main event. He did outstrike Song Yadong, but when you look at the fight itself, I mean, he was getting beat the fuck up. Also did land 2 takedowns there. Prior to that, like I said, beat the hell out of Ricky Simón. And then, he lost to Corey Sandhagen. Not a bad loss at all. I mean, Corey Sandhagen was just completely out of range for Song Yadong. Obviously just moving around the way Corey Sandhagen does. Clear, easy win. Actually ended up being a stoppage because Song Yadong's eye looked like this. So, Not the worst loss. And then prior to that, 3 wins. I mean, obviously the level of competition has increased. When you see his losses, I mean, he lost to Kyler Phillips. Let's just start from Kyler Phillips. Not a bad loss. Corey Sandhagen, not a bad loss. Peter Yan, not a bad loss. Henry Cejudo would be his biggest win of his UFC career. Now, Henry, obviously only 2 fights since he's come back. Lost a split decision against Aljo for the title, which he could have easily won, to be honest. But he did lose that. And then lost to Merab, where Merab just smoked him, even almost dropped him. Like, the hands are just not there. I don't know, the hands are not there anymore. And at this point in his career, I just don't know if he's really in it, like, fully. Like, it just feels like he has 1 foot out the door. Yeah, no, it's going to be really tough to see how that fight plays out, to be honest. Especially in the striking department, we know that Henry's going to be looking to get those takedowns early, especially in a 5-rounder. He's going to want to tire him out, push him on the cage, which Song Yadong's going to have to learn how to get out of those situations. Obviously, one of his main coaches is Uriah Faber. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he gets out of those clinch situations and positions, especially on the cage. 72% takedown defense. He's not going to be looking to get that many takedowns unless it's scramble situations where he's just reversing, so those won't really count as takedowns. But regardless, the striking is going to be completely on Song Yadong's favor. He's just going to be absolutely bodying him. He's going to be the stronger, bigger one in that fight. Now, if Henry Cejudo does end up finishing him, or not finishing, if he ends up getting him down, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets up from those situations and those positions, to be honest, especially in a 5-rounder. Henry knows how to win 5-rounders. He looked so much better in that fight against Aljo, which was a 5-rounder, than that 3-rounder against Merab. We know Merab's an absolute monster, but Song Yadong's not a scrub. I mean, my one issue with Song Yadong is his odds. minus 265 against someone like Henry is pretty rough, to be honest. I don't know. Those are nasty odds, honestly, but regardless of that, I still do like Song Yadong to win. He's the younger, fresher fighter. He has, I'm not going to say Henry has ring rust, but he's older now. I mean, he got knee problems and all these other fucking problems. He's been injured. Apparently he was injured against Merab, but he's not going to say it. So I don't really like to. I don't see how he is able to solve that puzzle of Song Yadong here, who's 27. He's young as fuck. He's mad young. Yeah. So I can't bet on the dog here. I know we bet on the veteran dog last week with Jared Cannonier. Can't do it this week with Henry Cejudo. I think Song Yadong is on his way still up. He's young. He has a million fights in the UFC, and he's not even close to 30 yet. So he's like closer to 25 than 30. That's crazy. So give me Song Yadong to win this by decision. I think he's able to win at least 3 rounds for sure, if not more. I think he hurts Henry, and I think from that point on, Henry's just going to be hesitant. So yeah, give me Henry Cejudo to win. I'm crazy. Give me Song Yadong to win by decision. And that caps off UFC Seattle. Like I said, only 11 fights. Not the best card, to be honest. We have 3 dogs. 3 pretty heavy dogs, to be honest. And there's a pick'em in there as well. But 3 pretty heavy dogs. I'm kind of liking it right now. Like I said, please make sure you like, sub, comment who you like the most in this card, your lock of the week. We're going to be looking to bounce back in terms of the parlay of the week, but that plus 900 parlay absolutely had me fucking backflipping in the crib. So hopefully we're able to do that again. That's going to be the focus, those type of parlays, but just hitting straight bets as well, and all the other normal stuff. Of course, follow me on Instagram from there. The link is for the Discord. If that's where I post all my early UFC the UFC predictions are already up now. This is coming out days in advance after, so it's been there from the point of this upload for days already. There's going to be a lot of line movement, so I wanted to get it out there as early as possible. I was watching film all goddamn weekend, so do that. Of course, like I said, giveaway at 500 subs. We're not that far off, to be honest. We're almost at 300. I had like 10, not even, I had like 5 like 3 weeks ago. So make sure you do that. Obviously, you can follow the TikTok as well, the Instagram, all that. But like I said, all the main predictions will be here, all the long breakdowns as well. Let me know if you guys want anything else in terms of videos. I will be dropping more than one video a week soon. Just trying to figure out in terms of what we want to do there. But yeah, that concludes these predictions. Let's have some fun, and I hope that we go 11-0. I'll talk to you guys later, and let's keep cashing.